give you the breakdown of the final assignment, which you can see outlined over here, Topics and Trends, Cultural Appropriation. So you'll need to hit this link, Essays on Cultural Appropriation. This is the library or the book resource that provides you with the information that you need to do the assignment, and I'm going to walk you through all of this in a moment. Okay, so we're here, and the assignment asks you to review Daryl Wagner's article, then go to the links to essays and read the article in defense of cultural appropriation and one other of the articles available in the book resource. Summarize the argument made in defense and compare it with the case being made in the article of your choice. So, this is Daryl Wagner's article. You hit there for the link to essays. This is the essay in defense of cultural appropriation. And the argument that's being made here is that cultural appropriation, not necessarily a bad thing. And what I'm asking you to do is decide whether you agree or disagree with the position taken by the writer in this article, and also comparing what he thinks to what is said in these other articles here. This link, it turns out, is defective, unfortunately, or it requires it's behind a paywall. So ignore that. I'll take that link down. But if you're interested, the Mikado is a light opera that was written by the Victorian British composer and lyric writing team Gilbert and Sullivan, and it was set in medieval Japan. And the question of whether or not it is appropriate for Englishmen or any non-Asians to be performing this opera in the first place, whether it should have even been written, is a huge issue in the theater right now. So don't worry about this one. Cultural appropriation in the theater of the absurd is, well, kind of like what we're living right now, a crisis of meaning that just never, ever ends. Cultural appropriation and dramatic adaptations. This article will circulate around ideas concerning the appropriateness of, say, this Victoria's Secret model wearing Native American garb, and other areas in which this finds itself creeping into the theater. This is a very interesting discussion. Aida is a musical that is set in Egypt. And as you know, you probably have heard of Elton John. Tim Rice is the lyricist who wrote the score for Jesus, the lyrics for Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita, among other things, with his collaborator Andrew Lloyd Webber. But the question here is whether or not this mostly white student organization, was going to perform this musical written by two white guys, and the problem was that they had to cancel it because there was an insufficient number, in fact, I don't think any, Egyptian people or Nubian people or African people. The Mahabharata is the Indian equivalent of the Iliad and the Odyssey, East India, not American India, Native Americans. This was put together by a British director in the 1980s named Peter Brook, and at the time he used an international cast to tell this story that is a very, very sacred part of the Hindu religion and Indian culture. He used an international cast, and it was a world-famous production, toured the world back in the 80s and the early 90s, and now the question is whether or not it's okay for this production to continue in the way it has been. Then there's the question of cultural appropriation and drag. This article is going to focus on how the drag culture appropriates other cultures and whether drag culture itself can be culturally appropriated. So some of you may be interested in that. And the last article is, and then this is the one that you'll all be reading to compare and contrast with all this other stuff. Okay, that's the assignment. If you have any questions, please let me know. And this will be the final project for the course. This is the last thing that I'm going to be asking you to do. So please try to get it to me by Monday, the latest, so that I can turn my grades in on behalf of this class. This is also a good time to get in touch with me if you're missing material, need me to open any other quizzes, or have any questions about anything that you need to get caught up on. All right, thanks for listening and watching.